Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh, and welcome to the city of Alpine on the Winter Hills map in City Skyline. As you come in, the very first thing you see as you approach the harbors is a giant cathedral, and followed immediately behind that we have a snowboarding stadium, because I'm a huge fan of the X Games, a casino, mass transit hubs, and more. To your immediate right, we have our industrial import hub areas with two different cargo hubs, and as you follow through, we have the city's zoo to your immediate right, one of two universities in the city, an actual university. We have a assorted different restaurants and stadiums and more mass transit, and then as you approach Capitol Hill, we have a great deal of heavy or residential, commercial hotels, and more as we approach the place where the pretentious gather day in and day out, right smack dab around the Eden Center. To the immediate left of Capitol Hill, we have our oil and gas industries over here, providing fuel and plastics to the city at large. As we come down this massive hillscape, we have all kinds of light residential over here in the far northeast corner as we approach one of several different leisure areas and heavy residential locations. And as we continue up the mountain, we have additional residential pretty much everywhere. We have one of a handful of highway multi-junction points, and then the city's metalworking industry. Over here, as we go through, we have more stadiums, one of the city's primary transit hubs right there, and somewhere over here. We also have the one and only highway entrance to the city, but unfortunately, due to the fact that this is the only highway entrance into the city, we had to be a little bit creative with highway tunnels to make sure that there was opportunity for people to come and go north, south, east, and not really a whole lot of west. But as we follow the highway system down, we have the city's first and foremost lumber area right over there, representing our forestry industries. Then we have a little bit of lag. And we also have two of our major sports hubs right next to the first university that was placed in this town, a gigantic, sprawling, 5-star trade school. And immediately across from that, we have City Park. Then, as you continue downwards, we have the hub of transportation for the entire city, a 12-point train line, which has served the city since, well, almost since its inception. And immediately over here, we also have another mass transit hub, including a giant firework flashy castle and the space elevator. The city is fully equipped with metro, monorail, bus, tram, airplane, and train lines, in addition to the worst airport I think that I have ever put together in my entire history of City Skylines, but it serves the job relatively well. As you come up through the city, we also have Highlight Hill, with a couple of hotels and some of the biggest, tallest, flashiest buildings all the way around, which provide an incredible view for the city at large. The city of Alpine has more than 150,000 residents scattered all across through here. It has more than 30 transit lines. It has a traffic ratio of around 75 to 78%. It does not use any mods whatsoever. It does take all 9 tiles. We do have a couple of different assets, but they are nothing too major. One of the assets being one of my favorite interchanges, this style right here, which allows 2 highway lines to go right through and a roundabout right underneath it. One of the other favored interchanges is buried up here. It's this corner highway system, and I absolutely love this. This makes adding corners and hedges to the highways so smooth, so easy, so gentle. The only thing I don't like about it is that it is a 4-lane highway and not a 6-lane, which I prefer. Anyways, as you continue down, we have assorted landmarks and assorted just wonderful, beautiful locations. I do have to say this is probably one of the most beautiful cities I have ever made, even if part of it does appear to be on fire. Then as we continue all the way through, you'll make note that we have access to harbor, aircraft, and highway and train cargo imports, and unfortunately at this time I feel like the city has just about hit its maximum life cycle. I have hit a point where I'm no longer able to import as much industry as I need to provide for the assorted buildings we have through here, running into problems, and I think it's primarily just due to hitting caps of available cars and just the max limits that the 2 cargo harbors I could find room for can actually manage. So, this is one of the most challenging cities I've ever had to put together, and it's entirely been because of the hills. The hills have made a tremendous difference in how I do my layouts for tram and train traffic and monorail. As you can see, I do have a little bit of a backup here. Unfortunately, these lines are not as clean and as polite as I wish they would be. As you can see, in several locations they look like a mishmash of a spider web, and that is not necessarily a good thing. But again, that's almost entirely the fault of the hills and the game systems for what it allows me to do with, you know, bridges and everything else. Still, despite the fact that they are a little bit wonky at times and it looks migraine inducing, and honestly it has more ups and downs than a roller coaster at our, well, over here at our city amusement park, it works. It works, has worked quite well. This is one of the largest populations I've ever got in a city, so despite all the complexity involved, I think it still turned out great. I rarely see any winter style maps promoted and advertised, so here we go with Winter Hills and the city of Alpine. Thank you all again. I hope you have a wonderful day and do enjoy your visit to City Skylines.